Hey guys, it's Jin the PSI Kid, and I'll get straight to the point. You, and more people, should play Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, a game that I personally found to be my favorite fighting game that I believe should have a lot more players. This video will cover all the pluses and of course the negatives of the game to ultimately show you why you should play the game. Whether you are a fighting game enthusiast, a newcomer to fighting games, looking for a main fighting game to dedicate your time to, or even a secondary fighting game to take a break from the main one where you won't dedicate as much time to, you should play the game. I decided to make this video since after the release of Vicula and the announcement of when Season 2 in Sandel Fawn will drop, Granblue got put back on the radar again, even slightly. So I wanted to take this chance to tell people how good this game is. So without further ado, let's get started. Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising is a 2D fighting game that is a sequel to the original Granblue Fantasy Versus, a game that focused more on footsies and had a slower pace in gameplay compared to other anime fighters like Guilty Gear Strive and Dragon Ball FighterZ. Both Vanilla and Rising had both simple and technical inputs, so beginners won't be intimidated by the command list, and veterans can do the inputs for a small damage bonus. Both games also introduced a cooldown system, where if you use a special move, it goes on cooldown. It's more noticeable if you use an EX special. There's also a block button, which you can hold the block instead of holding back. Holding the button will also automatically switch sides to block cross-ups as well. Pressing the back direction while holding the button will do an invade that dodges attacks so you won't take chip damage, but it loses to froze. Pressing forward will do a crossover which also dodges attacks and moves your character forward, but will lose to lows and froze. The main changes between Vanilla and Rising are the bravery point system, which includes the use of raging strikes, raging chains, and brave counters, the introduction to low and overhead triple attack enders, dash attacks that change depending on the button you press, Skybound arts and Super Skybound arts, taking and restoring bravery points if you hit the cinematic, and finally, ultimate skills that uses 50% meter for an even special version of your specials. Oh, there's a few things I missed. Rising also adds a new third chapter in the story mode, alongside the previous two chapters in the Vanilla Versus that introduces a new character, Rean. The story mode of Granblue Fantasy Versus is more like a beat 'em up, where enemies come from both sides of the screen and you have to complete objectives, like destroying all the enemies, surviving until time runs out, etc. Even if you haven't played the mobile game, it gives you information about the characters, and it's a completely original story in the Granblue universe. And if you're tired of going head to head against people in the lobby, or queuing up for some casuals or ranked, would you be up for some Granbrew? Granbrews is a side game that is very similar to Fall Guys, where you use your lobby avatar to be the last person standing. This game mode has objectives like racing to the finish line, teaming up to collect the most gold bricks, destroying the most slimes, trying not to get blown off the platform with a muscular bubs, lifting weights flying around, etc. Now to one of the two most important parts of the video itself. Explaining why, in my opinion, you should play the game and showcasing all the game's pluses as well. One of the pluses is how overall welcoming this game is to newcomers and casual players. As shown in their April Fool's video, you can do specials with just a single button. There isn't any real difficult inputs in this game, so it's very accessible. But outside of that, and something I don't hear people talk about much, is how well made the guides are for each aspect of the game. Guides from basic mechanics, character-specific guides on how to use them better, and even counterplay guides against every character in the cast. These guides, alongside the easier inputs and very practical combo trials, makes it very easy for anyone to pick up and play. Another plus is how decently sized the roster is and how diverse each character is as well. You have your Shotos, your Zoners, a Grappler, Rushdowns, Puppeteer, weirdo guest character who doesn't play by the normal rules, etc. There's a good amount of characters to where there's a character for just about anyone, even without DLCs involved. Each character has unique normals, specials, and skybound arts that makes them different. Again, there are in-game guides to each character, so you can always go to the training mode and look at a detailed list of the character's specials, their attributes, and see what they can do, and rather practical combos to try out too. Oh, and speaking of characters, we have to talk about balance, right? At least for my competitive players out there. In my opinion, at least currently, the game is in a well-balanced state. You are able to play every single character and reach the highest ranks if you're good enough with them. Now, okay, don't get me wrong, there are definitely characters that are a lot stronger compared to others and can more realistically find better tournament results. But there isn't a character that is struggling terribly to the point of being unplayable and extremely weak, or a character that is so strong that the person wins from selecting them on the character select screen. Another thing is that this game has a very nice and close community within the lobby and in general. The guidebook can be it can be an interesting read, though there were players who gave me helpful tips and were genuinely pleasant to talk to. This game also drops a good amount of content per patch, usually a character, some balance changes, a new battle pass with nice customization for your profile card, more stickers, illustration for characters, and entire costumes too. Also, a small little bonus is the partners. You get to have a little partners of characters in the game and also in other side games titles that will talk to you in the menu, give you praise for your wins and encouragement when you lose. It's a little positive addition that honestly just makes me smile and restores my mental after a few bad games sometimes. Now, for the best part and why you should play right now. Drumroll please. There's a free edition. There is quite literally a free edition of the game itself. You can actually pause the video, open up Steam or the PS Store, whatever you prefer, search Granblue Fantasy vs Rising, scroll down, and it'll have a download button next to Granblue Fantasy vs Rising free edition. I'm not kidding. It gives you everything the full version has to offer except part 3 of the story mode, private rooms, some customization limits with your avatar, profile card, etc., and gives you 4 characters in a base roster that rotates each week to play, with Gran being a character that doesn't rotate at all. All that considered, you can pretty much enjoy a very generous chunk of the game for completely free. You can play lobby matches, queue for both casual and ranked matches, play Grand Brews, play chapter 1 and 2 of the story mode, you name it. You don't have to drop $60 like I did to enjoy the game. You can download it right now for free. It doesn't get better than that. It's something I personally wish every fighting game does. You can try the game out yourself at any time without spending a single cent. There is no point in continuing this video. Just download it. Download it. I'm waiting. Come on, just download it. Now, I wouldn't be a very honest person if I said that this game doesn't have any faults. Besides, I firmly believe if you really love something, you know and aren't ashamed of talking about the bad parts of what you love. As awesome as the goods go, there are some drawbacks the game experiences. These things range from my personal opinions to what I've seen from other people. Let's get this one out of the way. Remember when I said this? Yeah, now let's talk about it. 6XL is a very strong button that a bunch of characters rely on because it does it all. It's a good pressure tool, combo starter, combo extender, neutral skipper, it can walk your dog, make you breakfast, etc. A lot of people mention this button when it comes to this game's faults because of how strong it is for being a universal button that is +2 on block. Luckily, it's not as bad as it was at launch. It was nerfed a few patches back, but still is a very strong button to use in general. Speaking of patches, despite them having rather good content drops, they don't happen as often as some people would like, or at least big patches that include significant changes to characters. It's more common to see bug fixes every month or two, but for big changes, it usually takes a couple more months and can make some players feel a little fatigued. Personally, the story mode feels a little flat, at least compared to Vanilla Versus. In Vanilla Versus, you actually build a grid, similar to the original mobile game, to get stronger stats in the story mode. In Rising, they completely got rid of the grid mechanic. There's also kind of no reason to do the hard versions of the battle sections other than personal achievement. No online raids or going from island to island. This is purely just reading a story sections, scrolling down, doing a battle section, scrolling down, and repeat. It honestly is a lot less cooler than how Vanilla Versus did it. I can understand if grid building was a bit of a commitment for playing the story mode, a mode that can be considered a side mode to the main online versus modes, so it's more of a personal gripe that I have about the game. Also, DPs are kinda weird. Each of them have different frame data, so what you use to punish a DP is very dependent on the character they're using. Just a little complaint. One final thing is Brave counters. The go-to get off me tool is kinda too good at getting people off of you. Even if you guess right and block it, it's actually +6 on block, so you'll be in disadvantage. Only real way of countering Brave counter is to dodge it to be +2 if you cancel your normal into a dodge, or, well, name yourself Catalina in 5U. I'll keep things brief since the video has gone on long enough. I heavily recommend this game to anyone interested in starting fighting games in general. It gives you everything you would need as a newcomer, and it will give you transferable skills for other fighting games as well. Even for my experienced players, there's something for you in Granblue. It has just about everything you would need. A big roster, unique characters, rollback, I can't believe I never mentioned that before, good content drops, guides, a free edition, and a lot more. By this time, the game has hit its 1-year anniversary. I've been playing since the beta, and I can confidently say that I've been satisfied the entire ride. Out of all fighting games, this game really clicked with me the most, and I hope that it will be the same for everyone who watched this video. I personally want to see more players, tournaments, and content creators for this game, and watch the overall community grow. As you can already tell, I deeply love this game, and I just wanted to share it with everyone and to see where it goes from here. If it was nominated and has a chance of winning Fighting Game of the Year, I can only see great things going forward. Character Pass 2 is coming very soon, and who knows who will get past Sandalphon. Maybe we might even get a third Character Pass. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video and listening to me basically ramble about Granblue. Hopefully you'll try the game out and we'll meet up in the lobby. See ya!